Right. Yeah. Good afternoon. I ran across an article by Blythe Robertson from The New Yorker, and it made me laugh, so I wanted to read it out loud for you. It's labeled Honest iPhone Updates, and it reads, iOS 13. Get ready for some big changes to your iPhone. For example, we noticed that your phone is an ancient 3 years old. With iOS 13, we've included a bunch of pointless little updates that will make your battery drain more quickly and your phone run more slowly until you give up and buy yourself a new one. iOS 13.0.1. This update includes dozens of emojis that you don't need, like multiple types of floppy disks and a tiny sandwich composed of 2 saltines with French's mustard in between. It does not include the one emoji you could actually use. A tampon. iOS 13.0.2. Your phone will now respond to Hey Siri, but only when you're saying Hey Siri as a bit and not when you're actually trying to figure out what the weather is without just walking over to a window. iOS 13.0.3. Obviously you'll never use this, but we've added a bunch of stuff to the Stocks app. Your stepdad is going to be thrilled. iOS 13.1. We see that you haven't bought a new phone yet. Don't worry, your battery now lasts a maximum of 20 minutes. iOS 13.1.1. On a side note, this one was particularly piquant to me. Includes updates to Apple News, even though you get all of your news from noticing that 3 friends have obliquely referenced a celebrity on Instagram and deducing that that celebrity must have died. And I've totally done that before. I mean, like, I've seen like 1 or 2 references to, OMG, name and name and name. I've seen that twice today. I wonder how they must have died. Something bad must have happened to them. Or they must have done something like stupid. iOS 13.1.2. This update won't automatically set up Apple Pay for you. We can't figure out a way to make that legal yet. But every 15 minutes you'll get a push notification asking you if you want to set up Apple Pay. iOS 13.1.3. This one was also good. Voice memo playback is set to speakerphone by default, so that when you unthinkingly open the app while out with friends, they'll all be able to hear your very bad attempts at playing Shallow on the guitar. I'm not even gonna continue that one. Just a little bit of that joke is enough. iOS 13.1.3. The weather app now includes a little note that says that the air quality is bad all the time. So that's fun. iOS 13.2. Playing hardball on that new phone thing, huh? Well, with this update, unless your old ass phone is charging, it is dead. iOS 13.2.1 introduces a button to sync your iPhone to your Apple TV, which you will constantly push by accident. You don't even have an Apple TV. But now you're thinking about it. iOS 13.2.2. You know how we at Apple have spent the last 10 years meticulously crafting ways to make you want to look at your phone more? Okay. So now we have this little thing called screen time, which will shame you for looking at your phone so much. iOS 13.2.3. This one's complicated. Makes it so that your family group text is broken into 3 separate text threads. Even though 4 people in the group are under 30, none of you will be able to figure out how to recombine the threads. Your phone is constantly beeping and it will become impossible to follow the conversation. Beyond that, your mom is calling you an elitist for complaining about the family group text. Maybe she has an Android phone. Actually, Android phones can quite effectively handle group messages now, from my experience. And the only thing that's really a bother is when iPhone users about green bubbles. And that's not our fault! iOS 13.3. This is kind of a nod to the MacBooks that are getting banned on an increasingly large number of airlines. Finally, after many sleepless months for our best programmers, we have perfected technology that causes your battery to explode in a shower of beautiful fireworks. Yes, it's completely safe. Yes, you will have to buy a new phone because your previous phone exploded. No, this is not covered by Apple Pay. Care. Again, this gem of literature here was provided by Blythe Robertson, I hope I pronounced her name right, a contributor to The Onion and The New Yorker, and is the author of How to Date Men When You Hate Men. Not really a book for me, but a book perhaps for others. Blythe Robertson didn't actually give this to me. This is for an article from The New Yorker that I found on there we go. article from New Yorker that I found on Flipboard. So unfortunately, I'm not the progenitor of this, but I thought it was super funny. And like, as long as we give credit, why not we read it? That'll be cool. Also, in non-related news, BeamtUp Tech just broke 14K subscribers. A little bit of celebration or drinking going on, yes. Also, for those that follow BeamtUp or BeamtUp Tech or both on platforms other than YouTube, you probably are familiar with BeamtUp Moments, little minute-long or less little clips that I have gleaned from otherwise unusable footage from like attempted vlogs or parts of videos that or just things I've filmed and then edited with Adobe Rush. But now I'm posting those, like the backlog of them, on the non-tech BeamtUp channel on its own playlist. So you can just kind of run through the little minute-long micro episodes. I feel like, you know what, why haven't I done this before? And it's probably been suggested to me a time or two in the past, but now they're there. Some particularly awesome individuals is the Scotties on Patreon. I should have said are the Scotties on Patreon. Anyway, and those are Unit Omega, Christopher Caswell, Eric Price, Ian Lewis, Jared Elder Studios, Jatinder Lal, Joe Schmo, Nick Hawks, and Paul Donnelly.
I stay with my Scotties. My Scotties are my boys. I ride with them. And I put that on the generation.
And for the Super Beamers, the ones that pledge $5 a month, they are Colin House, Eddie Ramirez, Grant Stockton, Paradox, SolarStar81, Stephen Cameron, and Ultra Sarker. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, we have the Beamers, the ones that pledge $1 per month, and those are Jamie Ives, Nicholas Clark, Roman Van Rookhuizen, Spidget, and Vincent Papineau. Keep reading funny articles like this and poking a little bit of fun at Apple's BS, and stay beaming. Look at that, the whole thing, well, almost the whole thing fits. It smells weird. I ran across an article, wait, hold on. With iOS 13, we've included a bunch of updates that will make your phone shot. Like multiple types of floppy disks in a sandwich. Your phone will now respond to Hey Siri, but not Hey Siri. Oh, excuse me. Your phone will... Your phone will now respond to Hey Siri, but only if... Your phone will now respond to Hey Siri, but only when you're saying Hey Siri as a bit, and not when you're actually trying to figure out that the weather or what the